Fierce Conversations, by Susan Scott, is a transformative guide that explores the importance of meaningful and impactful conversations in both personal and professional life. The book is built on the premise that all conversations matter, and that the conversations we have with ourselves and others shape the world around us. Scott argues that to achieve real success, change, and growth, we must engage in honest, courageous, and often difficult conversations that bring clarity, understanding, and resolution. At the heart of the book is the concept of fierce conversations, conversations that are authentic, bold, and designed to create lasting change. The book opens by emphasizing that most of us tend to shy away from crucial conversations, especially those that are uncomfortable or confrontational. These conversations, Scott explains, are often avoided because they stir up emotions such as fear, discomfort, or uncertainty. However, it is precisely these conversations that are necessary to address the most pressing issues in our lives. Scott highlights the importance of facing these conversations head-on, rather than letting them fester and undermine our relationships, careers, and personal well-being. Scott offers a framework for having fierce conversations, which involves preparing for them with intention and mindfulness. The first step is to take responsibility for the outcome of the conversation, acknowledging that we have control over how we engage and how we influence the direction of the dialogue. This includes recognizing that both the content of the conversation and the way we communicate it are important. A fierce conversation requires us to speak with authenticity and clarity, cutting through the noise and addressing the heart of the matter. One of the key principles in the book is the idea that conversations are not just exchanges of words but opportunities for connection. Scott encourages readers to truly listen to what others are saying, without judgment or defensiveness. Listening with empathy and understanding is essential for building trust and creating a space where both parties can express themselves openly. By focusing on what is being said and not just how it is being said, we can move beyond surface-level communication and engage in deeper, more meaningful conversations. Scott also emphasizes the importance of curiosity in fierce conversations. Rather than approaching conversations with the goal of winning or proving a point, she suggests adopting a mindset of curiosity, asking open-ended questions, seeking to understand, and being willing to learn from others. This approach shifts the dynamic of the conversation from one of conflict or competition to one of collaboration and mutual growth. A central theme of fierce conversations is the idea of confronting reality. Scott asserts that in order to have a truly transformative conversation, we must be willing to face the uncomfortable truths that often lie beneath the surface. This involves acknowledging the gap between where we are and where we want to be, and addressing the factors that are standing in the way of progress. Whether in personal relationships or within organizations, Scott argues that facing difficult realities is essential for growth and transformation. The book also delves into the concept of emotional courage, which Scott describes as the ability to stay present and engaged in a conversation, even when emotions are running high. Emotional courage is necessary for maintaining composure and authenticity when faced with challenging emotions like fear, anger, or frustration. By developing emotional courage, we can approach tough conversations with greater confidence and resilience, ultimately leading to more constructive outcomes. Scott also discusses the role of language in fierce conversations, arguing that words have the power to either build or break relationships. The language we use can either invite connection and understanding or create division and misunderstanding. In this regard, Scott stresses the importance of choosing words carefully, being mindful of how they are delivered, and paying attention to the tone and energy behind them. A fierce conversation requires us to speak with clarity and purpose, choosing words that reflect our values and intentions. In addition to individual conversations, Scott addresses the role of fierce conversations in organizations and teams. She argues that organizations thrive when leaders and employees are able to engage in honest, open dialogue that challenges assumptions, addresses issues head-on, and promotes accountability. By fostering a culture of fierce conversations, organizations can create an environment of trust, transparency, and innovation. Scott provides practical strategies for leaders to create spaces where these types of conversations can take place, emphasizing that leaders must lead by example and model the behavior they wish to see in others. Scott also touches on the idea of personal responsibility in fierce conversations. She asserts that we must take ownership of our role in the conversation, both in terms of the content we bring to it and how we show up in the interaction. This involves being accountable for our own thoughts, feelings, and actions, and recognizing how they influence the outcome of the conversation. By taking personal responsibility, we can avoid falling into the trap of blaming others or playing the victim, and instead focus on what we can do to move the conversation forward. The book also explores the idea of above-the-line and below-the-line thinking, a concept borrowed from the field of coaching. Above-the-line thinking represents a mindset of openness, curiosity, and personal accountability, while below-the-line thinking is characterized by defensiveness, blame, and fear. Scott encourages readers to adopt an above-the-line mindset in their conversations, as it fosters collaboration, problem-solving, and growth. By recognizing when we are slipping into below-the-line thinking, we can take steps to shift our mindset and approach the conversation with greater clarity and purpose. Scott goes on to address the idea of taking action as a crucial component of fierce conversations. She explains that having a conversation is not enough if it does not lead to meaningful change or action. A fierce conversation requires us to take responsibility for the outcomes and commit to making changes based on what has been discussed. Whether it is making a decision, setting a goal, or taking concrete steps to address a challenge, Scott emphasizes that action is the key to ensuring that the conversation leads to real transformation. In the latter part of the book, Scott discusses how fierce conversations can lead to personal and professional growth. By engaging in these types of conversations regularly, we create an environment in which feedback, learning, and improvement become integral to our relationships and careers. She argues that when we embrace fierce conversations, we not only improve our own lives but also contribute to the growth and success of those around us. The book concludes with a call to action, urging readers to start having fierce conversations in their own lives. Scott encourages individuals to take the principles and strategies from the book and apply them in their personal relationships, workplaces, and communities. She challenges readers to confront their fears, take responsibility for their conversations, and embrace the power of honest, courageous dialogue. Through fierce conversations, Scott believes that we can create a world of greater understanding, connection, and change. Fierce Conversations is a powerful and practical guide for anyone seeking to improve their communication skills and foster deeper, more meaningful relationships. Susan Scott's approach challenges readers to move beyond superficial dialogue and engage in conversations that are transformative, authentic, and impactful. The book serves as a reminder that the conversations we have, both with ourselves and others, are the foundation of the lives we create. It is an invitation to step into the courage and clarity required to have the conversations that truly matter.